What's up, Pirates? Wraith and Jim here with AwakenedTCG, and today we have a great video for you guys. We're going to be giving you guys a lot of insight on the first week of the OP06 meta. So this has some early tournaments and including a CS that happened yesterday. So we're definitely going to be going over some amazing data points and give you guys the breakdown on what's happening.
Yep, so this is going to basically show you exactly what's going on in the OP06 meta and exactly what's winning and exactly what you probably need to be ready for unless there is a massive meta shift when
Yeah,
it
and shout out
comes
to
here.
OP Hirata for
Yes.
these beautiful
Yeah.
pieces of
OP Hirata. Yeah, if you do not
data.
follow this person on Twitter, please do. They constantly churn out these amazing graphs which just give like really great and useful data. So, but we're going to go into the first one here. And this is basically just the total play rate. This is not win rate or anything like that. This is like the majority, or this is the breakdown of what people are playing these decks. So right here, this is just matches. So in the time between 11:25 to 11:28, there were 724 Sakazuki matches. 646 Yamato right behind at number 2, 636 Akadakuri, basically neck and neck with Yamato. Moria right behind at 575. A lot of people trying out the new Reiju. I don't think it worked out too well, but Reiju's right behind at 404. And then we have a lot of the oldies, Pluffy and NL, as well as Perona right in between. And then after that, it's kind of just a lot of different decks scattered out. And if you want the specific decks, we actually have them here on the bottom. These are the ones that are a lot less played, down to even the ones with 6 matches only. So let's go ahead and get into the statistics. So this one here is going to be win rate. So those are all the data sets of the data points right there of all those matches. And these are going to be the win rates of those matches. So right here out the gate, as you can see, the best deck is going to be Black Moria. When a new deck like this is the best deck, that's how you know it's good. Because people are just learning how to play this thing, and apparently they already figured it out when it's probably not even maximum optimized.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a standout percent. It's way over 50%, going into like the 56% win rate, which is pretty absurd. And then the other standout is the new leader, Hody Jones, at the very other end. So down to about a 30% win rate. So obviously that is a card where it's like, oh, well, it's probably not that good if it's that low of a win rate.
Yeah, definitely has some good support that you're going to be seeing in Yamato specifically.
Hmm.
But the leader itself, just not being able to attack and wrestling yourself is not good at all.
Yeah.
Definitely need to have strong effects to support that, which it does, but maybe not strong enough. Second here, we have Yellow NL still showing up. If I had to guess, probably just this high of a win rate because it's kind of just like curb stomping the people trying out the new decks like Reiju and Perona and all that jazz. But obviously, still a strong deck. It wouldn't have this high of a win rate if it wasn't.
Yeah, and then obviously we have the blue Luffy right next to it, which is pretty surprising. Not sure what's going on with the blue Luffys, but maybe it's just some cheese that people were getting caught by. But I personally don't believe that the blue Luffy leader has an effect where it warrants the deck to be this good. At least third best in win rate, but I mean it still is very early on, so you never know.
Yeah, and definitely not even close to as many players. Let's see, actually, specifically. So there are only 22 Luffy
True.
games here.
Yeah, so I
Um,
guess that data could be skewed a little bit too. Just
Yeah. So the lower amount of games that there are, the higher chance that you're gonna have a wonky win rate, just because there's a lot lower sample size. But basically, yeah, I don't think that's just I would ignore that for now. If that
yeah,
consistently happens though, okay, then we'll talk about it.
yeah, no. Hmm.
Yeah, but next up we have Yellow Katakuri. Definitely still a great deck. There's no doubt about that. Yellow got another really strong tool, I think. What was that new card they got? It's the 4 cost one that like takes a life. I think they're running that.
Hmm.
I
Yeah,
think
yeah, yeah.
I think Katakuri is running that, and definitely still a great deck. This one about at, I think 52-ish win rate. Very strong still. Nothing really to say there.
Yeah, and then we have obviously Uta and Sakazuki up next. The green Uta still being a really solid deck, just having so much card draw, so much resource gain, and then having that package to just flood board. And then with Sakazuki still being the best deck in format, in my opinion. Obviously, it's still week one. But we do have some data from the CS that we can go over here just in a sec and really get down to the top competitive decks rather than just, generalized data points on what's most popular, what has the highest win rate.
Yeah, because these still have like matches from like round one and tournaments and stuff like that, and there's some stuff that can go like really weird in those. But Sakazuki having still over 50% win rate with this large of a player base, yeah, that's going to show you this deck is still a problem.
Hmm.
We'll see if it turns out to be the best, but I'm not sure. And the next up here, directly at 50%, is going to be the new green and yellow Yamato. This I would probably attribute, like I was saying earlier with Moria, is probably just people getting used to the deck and not really knowing the exact ratios and the best way to build it just yet, or the best way to play it. But the fact that it already has a 50% win rate is a very good sign, and I think you'll see that it is definitely one of the best once we go over the championship results next.
Yeah, 100%. And then obviously right below it, the first deck that's under 50% win rate is Newgate and Red Purple Luffy, which are basically the same, right? They play very similar, just different leaders with different like small changes, right? How they play. They're both 6K leaders though, very similar. And yeah, and it's good to see Newgate still doing really well.
Yeah, cool. I mean, let's see how many players there were, or how many games there were. Newgate at 45, so not a lot, but still a decent amount of people playing it. It is definitely not completely forgotten about. There's a lot of other leaders here under 50%. We won't go over all of them, but I do want to go over the two new leaders here. So we have Reiju, right above about 45% win rate. This deck is kind of interesting. I think people are trying out the Germa package, but I truly think Germa is not the way to build it. Maybe you run like one or two Germa cards, but I think I like the Animal Kingdom Pirates package with this color combo. And then next up here we have Perona, right under 45% win rate. This one I think is going to take a lot of cooking to make work, to be honest.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like we said, the issue with this leader is the color combo. It just doesn't work too well together. We assumed that early on it would work great because you have the options now to rest for free and or give cost minus, but we're gonna have to wait and see. I mean, these are decks that are definitely more combo heavy and are gonna take a little more time for a list to get cooked for sure.
Yeah, who knows? Perona may be the future Sakazuki of OP06.
Hmm.
And going into the championship tournament here, this one here is going to be the top 16 breakdown and bracket. As you can see at the top, let's not leave it till last. Let's just say it. Yamato, new green yellow Yamato, has won this tournament, followed by Newgate in second place that it defeated in the finals. Very, very interesting. When a new leader wins the first tournament in a format and people are still playing the old decks, you know these new leaders are like really good, very strong.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, let's go over what it versed to actually get to the top. So in top 16, they played against a Katakuri.
Hmm.
So obviously beating its yellow counterpart, one of the greatest yellow decks. And then after it went into a Sakazuki matchup, which honestly, to me seems like the Sakazuki has the edge over it just because it can spam so many blockers. But obviously Yamato having the answer with Hordy Jones, running I
Hmm.
know Paradise Totsuka, things to rest any
Yeah,
blockers that are played.
I think there was actually a Sakazuki and Yamato game on stream.
Yeah,
Um,
round one.
it was this one here. The Sakazuki
Yeah.
actually ended up winning. But I think I don't know. From what I saw, I think that matchup might be pretty tough for Sakazuki. Obviously, because your main threat with Yamato at the start of the game is the leader. Sakazuki cannot remove the leader. So basically, even if you play blockers, that guy was playing the 1 cost rest of 4. I think it's Paradise Tatsuko or something. So he played like a Borsellino, and then he literally rested it for 1, and then swung 10. And Sakazuki was forced to take down to... Oh no, he actually took the turn prior when he swung 9. And then the next turn he did that and swung 10. And then he was forced to give him 3 2Ks out of hand.
Yeah.
Or else you would have gone to 0, and then at that point you can just rest with Hordy and go crazy. So I think it's kind of scary for Sakazuki.
Yeah, I think Sakazuki really has to just see its cards, be able to see enough blockers, right? Because obviously the Yamato will never swing at the blockers. They're just trying to rest them. So if you can get 3-4 blockers on board early on, which is kind of rough because Yamato is just online so early. That definitely feels like a Yamato favored matchup for sure, 100%. We're gonna have to wait and see, get more matches between that matchup to really know. But yeah, from just off first impression, I think the Yamato actually has the edge in this matchup.
Yep, and then Yamato went into a Moria player. This one was actually on stream. A really close match, actually. I think this is a very interesting matchup. I can't really say much on it yet. Moria does run a lot of the 2-drop blockers, which I think it might be for this matchup. I don't know. Yamato ended up bringing it out. It was a pretty close match, and then in the finals, obviously, went against a Newgate. Newgate actually was kind of scary. If you take Yamato's first hit with Newgate, it's kind of rough because you're not playing 9-drop. You have to be really scared towards the later end of the game. And there was actually a moment where the Yamato player played the 7-drop Hordy Jones towards one of the later turns. Whitebeard had that 1 Dawn standing for Radical Beam, and a lot of people, they only think you can rest blockers. Hordy Jones can also rest Dawn, so Hordy rested that Dawn and said, your Radical Beam is now offline. So that card really good against decks like Whitebeard.
Yeah, no, the Yamato package of the deck, that the winter deck that he was running, just has a crazy amount of versatility, right? Like you said, not only being able to rest characters, but Dawn as well. And so it's definitely interesting to see these first week tournaments play out, just because it's some crazy matches. Like you said, that Gecko Moria versus Yamato match, it's like 2 brand new decks versing. So it's like it's so hard to know what is optimal, what's correct. Are they even running the correct list? Are they, there's so much more to optimize, and so it's definitely fun to see. And I'm glad Yamato won because that's a green deck, which is my preferred color. So it's always nice to see green win.
Yep, kind of the wild west right now. And before we go to the winner deck list, we're actually going to go over the winner Yamato's deck list. Let's just go ahead and look at the top 16. Probably should have done this at the start, but basically we had 1, 2, 3 Sakazuki players. We had by far the most 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Moria players out of the top 16. So Moria definitely showing up heavy. They did not release the full player base for this tournament. I wish we could have seen if Moria was the most played leader, and that would make sense why it translated.
Yep, and then for yellow we got 3 Katakuris, 2 Anels, so definitely representing. And then obviously you have to run yellow Yamato in there. She's yellow as well. So 2 Yamatos, and then we had 1 Whitebeard, and we had.
I think that was it. Yep.
Yeah, and that was it. Yeah.
So, I mean, the Whitebeard being the one, which is hilarious because Whitebeard obviously was the face of this game, and now he's the one that makes it to top 16, and you're surprised. Very interesting meta coming here. Kind of the Wild West right now, but let's go ahead and look at the winner deck list. So here we have the first place Yamato's deck list. First thing to note, especially when I saw this list, they're running the Fishman Pirates package with the Kami 1-cost searcher that searches out Fishman Pirates. Or Fishman type cards.
Fishman type, yeah.
Yep, so as far as the Fishmen go, you're running obviously 4 of that 7-cost Hordy Jones. That card is insane in this deck and a fantastic finisher for after Yamato gets them down to about 1 or 0 life. You're running both of these 2Ks in Jinbei and Hachan. Just searchable 2Ks, right? Which we know are great in every deck. As far as other 2Ks that go, you're running the 4-up Ezo, another Rester, and a 2K. It's kind of a no-brainer in this deck. And then your last Fishman card here is going to be Arlong, the 4/6 that can trash a card from hand and allow one of their characters or leaders not to be able to attack during their next turn. The Yamato player actually did use this in finals against leader, and it actually really, really helped them. Oh, I didn't even think Shirahoshi here is also now searchable off of Kami.
Yep. So just a great card to hit off trigger to cycle cards. And then more often than not, obviously, you're probably going to just see that as a 1K counter. But what stands out to me is on 16 2Ks, right? That is a lot.
Right,
that is
with
more than
inventories.
usual. So, you're running you're running 16 2Ks, and then obviously you're running the 4/6 vanilla where you trash a card on play. You can basically get a beige effect on one of your opponent's characters, which is really good. Obviously, it stops your opponent's aggression, keeps you on a more of an offensive turn because they're going to be on the back foot, not being able to swing one time, and having so much 2Ks to just guard your life, guard your units as you get up to lethal turns, where then you just use that 2-drop yellow event to rest. You can use Horty Jones to rest. You can use Ezo to rest. So many options, right? You can just finish your opponent off when they're not expecting it.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is maybe one of the only decks that can kind of run this many 2Ks, just because it's one of the only decks that you don't need to rely on playing characters as much until the end of the game, just because, like, a lot of times if you run this many 2Ks, you'll run into a hand of all 2Ks, and you'll be like, this is terrible, I can't even do anything. Yamato's fine with that. She'll just attach all down to leader, take 2 of your life, and then now you have a bunch of 2Ks to defend yourself.
Yeah, it's like, oh, attach 5, swing 10. Are you going to give me 3 cards? And they have to be 2Ks, or are you going to take and go down to 0 life, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, very, very good deck here, and obviously deserving of its first place finish. I think it's a very well thought out list here, for sure.
Yeah, and then just one more thing I want to go over. They are running the 2 of the new 9-cost Zoros. Never saw them played, but I think against any match that's not Sakazuki, this card is actually really terrifying, especially with the multiple rest effects this deck has with the Ezo, the Jinbei, the 2-cost, I think this is 2 million volt Raijin, and then Horty Jones himself, obviously.
No, yeah, if that Zoro ever gets, if it sticks onto the board for that one turn where it can't swing, it is game over.
Yeah, basically the story I'm hearing from this list is I'm going to go defensive, I'm going to swing with leader till you're down to 0, and I'm going to finish you with Horty Jones and Zoro and my multiple rest effects. That seems like the plan for this leader and the way this person won the championship tournament in Japan. Very impressive and great to see a new leader win.
All right, Pirates, thank you guys so much for sticking until the end of the video. If you guys haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to us. 65% of our viewers are not subscribed. So if you enjoy this content, go ahead and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. And with that being said, we just went over the OP06 week 1 meta. We had a bunch of flagship data to go over with over 2,000 matches. And we just went over a CS that just currently happened. And there's going to be one next week again in Japan. So we'll probably go over that as well. But thank you guys so much for watching. You guys have a wonderful day. Make sure to like this video, comment down below, subscribe to our channel, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.